well, saying a new era might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but at least a new current style for an arm day has overtaken my sort of, what's the word I'm thinking? My preference. Because doing arms last arm day, buys before tries, was nuts. So that's the plan to repeat for today. Something, I don't know, and I feel like I've been saying this forever, right? By the time you finish triceps, they're fully pumped, and then once you're done with the whole lift, arms, you finish tries first, curls afterward. Your biceps are fully pumped, and now your tries are kind of a little flatter, right? So buys first, tries afterward, and actually, in terms of an arm pump, if I had to pick one muscle group to scale up a level compared to the other one, I'm going to pick triceps anyway. And not because my triceps are lacking, which for me, relatively, triceps are on my weaker side, but just because your triceps are the more dominant muscle group of your arms. It's not usually thought about. Always biceps, that's kind of classic, but the fact that it actually kind of hangs down in a bicep pose and just makes you look kind of broader from the front, your triceps are doing a lot of work making your arms look extra beefy, and your biceps get the credit. Right? It's unfreaking fair. So instead of my typical push downs followed by curls, this will be curls first. Now, exactly how the workout is going to look, we'll just have to see. I'm not exactly sure where I want to go for today, because I was at the private gym for arms last arm day, which was good, but I might want to branch out into some different machines, get some dips involved. Let me think about it. This will either be private gym or the Y. I'll have to decide as I'm kind of driving. But either way, I want to make sure I go freaking nuts. And then we're getting close to the end of this off season. Not like super close. It's only mid-July, but close enough. Like I'm definitely not there's not going to be an off season day 180. I think probably around a month, a little more than a month and change or so, and then start to ease back, peel down, see what kind of beef we put on in the process. And that's what honestly, I'm getting really excited for that. But that's not going to distract me from making sure I get a bunch of killer lifts in first while I'm really fueling up with a bunch of food, so that I can actually have something to show off once I'm dieted down. As much as because what's a bulk without the cut that is going to follow? All those gains, all those new striations and fibers and maybe veins or whatever. Like, you want to be able to show those off and see them, right? It's like you're sculpting blindfolded, and then you peek an eye out and see what you've actually built. Not the best analogy, but sort of. But either way, I doubt it's going to be too packed, or actually it might be extra packed because it's kind of rainy out this afternoon. There's no way to predict it, right? I'd say the gym population. I'm just gonna sneeze. Hard to predict, right? The days I think it'll be empty, it's packed. The days I think it'll be packed, totally dead. Kind of just something you'll have to see for yourself. But I think nothing else to talk about. Let's just go make this arm day happen. All right, let's start with some squeezing. Sort of, I guess this isn't even a preacher curl. It's preacher-esque, right? But with a regular kind of easy bar, it's like crazy tension at the bottom, and then it's a little bit of a break at the top, right? Like if I sat with, a plate on the barbell preacher or easy bar preacher, I could hold it up here for quite a while. Actually, holding it down the stretch would be a little wilder. But since this is kind of like, it's almost like the pec deck version of a curl. So the tension is just pretty constant throughout. But no more analyzing. Let's just go nuts. All right, 2 more of those. Ooh, 1 more. Okay. Oh, that was too heavy. That was good though. Let's pick something else. Let's grab the 70s. Oh my gosh. Ooh. All right, let's just do 1 heavy dumbbell set like that. Let's move on to something else. Not sure what, but something a little more squeezing. That feels a little too brutish for today. The 50s will be good here. Oh my gosh. Oh. 1 more. Woo. Yeah, those are good. Oh, that's too heavy. Also count that as a set though. Whew. All right. Let's do something on the cables. Some heavy seated easy bar curls will be good next. Similar style as those curls in the beginning. While I can, I want to squeeze and hold it. But I mean, honestly, I think I can get maybe 5 with a good squeeze, and then I'm just gonna have to, bust them out. Boy, let's get a good song playing. Okay. Ooh. All right. I think I've got a plan. And only 1 more bicep set is required. Slightly different execution. So, a little bit of a 2-parter. Phase 1, more pre-exhaust biased. Lighter curls. I mean, that last set was almost 100 pounds. This one's only 70. So they should be just a bit more, let's just say consistent, right? But that's the burnout phase. Afterward, throw it to the stack, slap the cable up to the top height, and then do bicep bias pull downs as the finisher. You know, it's kind of I'd say the bicep bias pull down is a learned taste. You know, I didn't feel it right away at first for sure, but if you do like it, or if you know, are trying it, I would say this, just really try to focus on pulling. I mean, it's weird to say, but I'm trying to pull with like the lower part of my forearm. Like this is where I'm trying to pull, because that's where my bicep is tying into my arm and actually, you know, leveraging that force. So that's what I'm trying to do. Like I'm trying not even to imagine what it looks like doing it. I'm just trying to put myself into just this little subsection of my arm and just crazy bicep squeeze, stretch, and repeat. But honestly, just basing this off the bicep pump so far, very good arm day. Only halfway done though. All right. Let's get some rope action started. Yeah, rope's a good kick, man. Because I mean, look, I'm hitting tries in two ways. For one, this is my warm-up set in a sense. You know, my triceps aren't like completely warmed and pumped yet. So by starting with a light-ish squeezing based tricep movement, I'm getting a good squeeze, burning myself out for, you know, the sets to come. But I'm also getting a good set in and of itself. You know, so if you're in a rush, I'm going to say start with a lighter squeezing set just because you can get into it quicker. I'm not in a rush, but, you know, just that's a little hack if time's ever of the essence. But Gucci Man has been going nuts today. Actually, the last few days. But let's see what we got here. Oh, almost tripping. I was about to say one more, then move on. Yeah. I got two more easy. Okay. Ooh. Let's do some dips. Hey. Oh, one more at least. Whew. That's good. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Let's do a heavy push down. I was doing the stack on those rope extensions, but that was still within reason. Like I could really hold it and squeeze. So this cable, I couldn't tell you exactly how much heavier this is. It's definitely heavier because I'm using both cables at once, but I don't know. I need like an industrial scale where it's got like, a little hook like for weighing fish or something, and then I can really see just how heavy this is. Because it says, well, I don't know, because it's lighter than my body weight, because I can pull this down pretty easily. So this might only be like 200 pounds or something. I don't know. Either way, it's heavy enough, right? I can feel it. So this is going to be, I mean, what? So that was light squeezing ropes, pretty heavy dips, now heavy push downs, and then I'm going to finish with some overhead kind of stuff. That'll be kind of my stretch-based finisher. But now all I got to do here, keep it simple, no 5-second squeeze, no 3-second eccentric, just normal tempo reps, as many as possible. Two. Yeah. Two. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, one more of those. Yeah, that's good. Two. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Oof. All right. Yeah. That was good. One more finisher. We can post down. Here's the plan. Rope burnout. Or no, rope pre-exhaust, overhead, easy bar extensions as the burnout. A good combination of more squeezing into a stretch-based tricep movement. So, ideally, in a perfect world, the yoga room is also empty, and then I can get some cool lighting. But we'll see. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, done. There we go. Yeah, tries totally cooked. And honestly, just from like the gripping motion of holding everything else in every kind of push down, I feel like my biceps have not become unpumped in the process. Very good for me. But I think I'm due, unrelated to a pump. Well, actually, kind of related to a pump. I'm due for a freaking trip to find some old t-shirts and make some new cutoffs. I've got a method, if you're curious, because I'm aiming for basically like trap width on the top, and then just maybe an inch-ish or two below where my lats insert at the bottom of a cutoff like this. For me, that is a good ratio, and others might disagree. Some guys like rocking the 2005 era cutoff that goes all the way down to the bottom, and it's like you're just wearing like an old school toga where it's cloth in the front and the back. But to each their own. I'm not here to judge, as long as the pump that you're showing off in your tank is legit. And frankly, I'm feeling pretty freaking good. There we go. Yeah, that's good. I think next arm day I am due for an arm measurement. It's been a while since I've actually got some numerical data on just how round these things are. But yeah, even just from looking at them, still feeling pretty good. What's a number going to tell you anyway, right? As long as you feel like a beast, that's just a piece of data. And 21 inches, 20 inches, 19 inches, that doesn't really define your arms, right? It's a construct that's beyond pure quantitative description. But feeling like a beast, and get in the car and just let's get out of here. Very good arm day. There we go. All right. Just realized I did a whole 10-minute talk, and I had the mic in my pocket because I didn't want it to get wet in the freaking rain. But what I was getting into, very good lift, feeling strong, very freaking pumped up, and yeah, man, I'm getting excited to get lean again. There's just you don't need me to explain why being lean is cool, but yeah, actual just grain and kind of the visual appeal. Yeah, my logic has always been to almost if I could envision it, it's like I'm climbing a mountain, a mountain of gains, and every off season is another trek, 200 meters of elevation, 300 meters of elevation, and then the dieting phase is a break from that trek upward, because when you're dieting, you're not growing, not to any substantial degree, at least. So that's when you get to kind of turn around and look at the view, right, and see where you've actually, kind of made it up to. But yeah, I definitely spoiled myself with the last prep in terms of getting to really see how I look diced. Because I've gotten lean before, but yeah, that last competition season earlier this year, that was extra lean for me, and that wasn't even as lean as I could have gotten. So now I can learn and approach this next dieting phase even better, and probably take it a bit further, simply due to the fact that now I'm a bit more used to taking a diet that far, right? Somebody who's never ran a marathon before is going to have some trouble even running a mile, but once you've gone that mile, it's going to be a little easier next time. So that's half of my kind of thought process when I imagine guys who have never bulked, they've never really cut either, they're just kind of in limbo of a normal body fat percentage, and got to pick one, right? One or the other. Because if you pick neither, I feel like you're kind of just wasting time. You know, at least as long as you're not making progress. If you're steadily getting stronger and bigger, you know, main gaining style, who am I to tell you you're doing anything wrong, right? Keep going. Main gaining is legit. I mean, I was making pretty steady main gaining progress for like 2.5 years or so. And then once that kind of started to slow down for me, that's when I decided to get into kind of an off-season dieting sort of approach. But yeah, getting closer. Definitely more than, actually, yeah, probably just about 75% of the way there for this off-season. Maybe a little more, a little less, but yeah, I'm ready to get lean again. That's gonna be freaking cool. But I think I already said this earlier too. You know, what's the cut without the bulk that comes first, right? There is no sunrise without a sunset. There is no tide without a, well, I guess just the opposite, tide. You know what I'm saying? There's no sun without the moon. So they kind of, at least for me, they live in a good balance. I was making a kind of reference about that yesterday. You know, some guys love staying bulked forever. It's their thing. They couldn't care less about seeing their abs. And then some guys, I think, might be a little too attached to being crazy lean, and you know, then they stay lean all year round, and you know, they don't make that much progress. So I think a middle ground of you know, sweet and sour, right? What's another one? Sweet and sour. Salty and sweet and salty. It's kind of stupid. That's sweet twice. Well, either way, having a good blend of the two is a nice middle ground for me, because I get the best of both worlds, right? Dice for a portion of the year, and big and strong for a portion of the year. You know, and for me at least, I'm not. Well, I'm probably just about 50-50 in terms of my preference for either. But. Yes. Plan now. Go home. Get some food in my system. I've got a salad bowl prepped with some white rice, shredded chicken, and some buffalo ranch kind of sauce. So that'll be post-workout meal, and then probably a real dinner and a post-dinner snack / meal. That will be just about freaking right for the end of tonight. Then I can get a good night's rest and get ready for legs tomorrow, which I definitely want to, I mean, I want to do this every lift, but I want tomorrow's leg day to be the craziest quad pump I've had at least this year, if not forever, right? So that's kind of the challenge I'm tasking myself with. So as long as I get a good night's rest, stay hydrated, and get some food in my system, should not be a freaking problem. But no more talking. I guess I'll see you for legs tomorrow.